this is Linda Cohn from ESPN, and you're listening to the ML Sports Platter.
The ML Sports Platter back with you all over the major platforms: Google, Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, Deezer. Download, subscribe, leave feedback, and a 5-star review. And if you're confused, maybe you're new to the modern podcast game, just go look for that podcast button on your smartphone device. For example, many of you have an Apple phone. It's a purple podcast button. You tap it, you tap search, you type in ML Sports Platter, you download and subscribe. Leave the feedback and a 5-star review. All a part of the Brawl Network. You can get me on Twitter at Mike L Sports and our platform on Twitter as well. Just go ahead and follow at Network Brawl. We're brought to you by Bryant and Stratton College for every and in life. BryantStratton.edu. 2- and 4-year degrees are starting soon. Make sure you head on over to the website, fill out a little question type of survey thing, and you can get placed a lot easier there. It's very user-friendly as well. Bryant and Stratton College, the official college of the ML Sports Platter. A tip of the cap thank you as well to Western New York OTB. Make sure you get over to your off-track betting in Western New York and OTBs throughout racing season in New York State, wherever you may be. And a big thank you to a couple other sponsors here, the Al and Angus Pub, the Vince Aguirre Consulting Group, and Stanley Law Offices. Make sure you visit StanleyLawOffices.com, where it's always personal. If you're an accident victim, talk with someone from the dedicated team of Stanley Law Offices today. StanleyLawOffices.com. All right, so this is a podcast. It's just me. But I'm going to really dive into all teams in the NFL and free agency as of right now. So I'm recording this. A lot of free agents, have been signed. There's been, a few trades around the league. And everybody loves to do like their top 5 winners, top 5 losers, blah blah blah. I want to go through each and every team. I'm going to do some quick hit stuff, quick hit, takeaway, quick hits, some takeaways, and then, I'll say at the end, kind of where I think they are. I'll either label them a winner or a loser or a middleman. How's that? I'm going to call him middleman, where I can't really decide if it's a loss or a win. I'm recording this Friday afternoon, heading into the weekend and all this. So March 19th, there might be some stuff going on over the weekend. Obviously, the rumors have been flying big time about Zach Ertz going to Buffalo. So we'll see if any of that stuff takes place over the weekend. But as I record this, this is... these are the moves that have been made so far. Basically, kind of go in alphabetical order with the league here. I mean, the Arizona Cardinals, I think, are a winner right now. I don't think there's any question about it. They've shored up a couple of big-time spots. They go get a reliable kicker in Matt Prater. Well, you want to start with J.J. Watt. Matt Prater. You go get A.J. Green. Again, I don't think A.J. Green is anywhere near what he used to be. But 1 year, $8 million, the $6 million guaranteed's a lot. But you add a weapon, a guy who used to be one of the top 2-3 receivers in the league. He still knows how to play. He won't have a lot of pressure there because he'll be like the 3rd or 4th option. I like that move a lot. They shored up major defensive places as well. They had to go out and add to the corner depth. They got Robert Alford and Marcus Golden, of course, an edge defender. They picked him up as well, Tanner Viejo, at 2 years and $4.1 to help out with the linebacker unit. And, of course, the big swing was J.J. Watt. I mean, 2 years at $31 million, $23 million of that guaranteed. J.J. Watt, when he first signed, it was, he's not going to a contender. He chose the lifestyle and chose the money more than being a contender. But maybe J.J. Watt knew more than you when he signed. What do I mean by that? Yes, despite the division, despite different things, they maybe gave him a direction in terms of where they were going in free agency, and since they signed Watt, look at what they have done. I don't think that they're the Packers or the Bucks or, the elite of the NFC or the elite of the NFL. But I think the Cardinals are pretty good. They took a real major swan dive last year. But when you look at this team, there's a lot of talent there. Kyler Murray's there. They're growing. So I think I'm going to throw a winner card on these guys. Arizona Cardinals, winner. Atlanta Falcons, loser. So far. We have a long way to go, obviously. We have the NFL draft. Where are they going to go with Matt Ryan? Are they going to go now with Arthur Smith as a new head coach? Are they going to go with a different approach offensively? Are they going to go quarterback in the draft? But as far as free agency goes, I mean, they're a loser at this particular point. They did pick up Alan Bailey, an edge defender I don't know much about. They picked up Ricardo Allen, a safety. And Lee Smith, they made a trade for the former Bills tight end, a 2022 late-round pick. I guess it makes sense for them to have another option at tight end. But you're also bringing in a guy who actually really, 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 really mauled retirement about a week ago. So, the Falcons be the Falcons, man. They really needed to win that Super Bowl against the Patriots, 28-3. Gosh. Man, that franchise, I tell you, I think they're in a total rebuild mode, and I've heard a lot of people say that they have a lot of faith still left in Matt Ryan, and that's fine. But if I'm Atlanta and I'm starting over, new GM, new head coach, you've got the draft in coming up, I don't know, man. I would almost move on from one of my big core pieces. If I can get a load back, why not do that? You could maybe shed some cap money as well. They might run it back with Matt Ryan. They really might. But, again, Calvin Ridley, you could probably build around him. I don't know. I mean, do you trade Matt Ryan and Julio and kind of try to start over? Man, the Atlanta Falcons, just such a question mark. Let's go to the Ravens. I'm gonna be middleman right now because I just don't know really a ton about a lot of the guys they brought in outside of the Kevin Zeitler move, which I really like. The Ravens made it a point. They really, really, really wanted to shore up the offensive line after 2020. They did that. They bring in the guard into Baltimore. They've signed, kind of some marginal guys, right? Other than that, you get Justin Ellis, you re-sign him, you go out and get Tyus Bowser, who got great money at 4 years and $22 million. So we'll see what all these guys bring to the table. Bowser is and that's a re-sign, by the way, for the Ravens at 4 years and $22 million. Had to probably keep him because he's one of your top edge guys. So I'll go middleman right now for the Ravens. Still some room there as well. Buffalo Bills, I'm going winner. And I know that a lot of folks out there in Bills Mafia think that the Bills haven't done anything. I'm not saying everybody in the fan base thinks this way, but there are a lot of people who feel, and it's not just Twitter, but Bills fans in general, like, geez, they haven't made a big splash, and they, well, as I record this, there's a real good chance that they're probably going to get Zach Ertz. So if you're going to listen to this on Monday and he's on the team, don't be surprised. They went into the offseason looking for probably, they wanted to run it back with a lot of the same guys, right? That was their number one goal. Well, they've done that, right? Check the box. Within the framework of everything else, it was, hey, got to find a corner, probably got to find an edge rusher, got to find a little bit more beef on the offensive line, and then plug and play here and there and do our thing for a team that was one win away from the Super Bowl in 2020. And, you can do that via free agency or via the draft, right? But the Bills, I mean, look, I think this is a really, really, really great offseason for Buffalo because they re-signed Matt Milano, Darrell Williams, John Feliciano. They made the cap room for those guys and elsewhere by cutting John Brown and cutting Quentin Jefferson, and it's stunning to me that John Brown said that he was blindsided by it. I mean, how could you not see it coming? I don't understand that. I mean, you got like an $8-9 million cap hit. You know the cap is $15 million less because of the corona. And the offense got really, really good and dominated without you in the lineup, and you're an injury-plagued guy. So how did you not see it coming? I just don't understand. I just mentioned the trade of Lee Smith to Atlanta. Emmanuel Sanders, I think it's going to be a great signing. I know he's 34 years old, but he can play 3 wide receiver positions. He's going to be perfect in the gadget, Brian Dable sort of tricky Bills offense. I love this move. Now you got Diggs. You've got Sanders. You've got Beasley. Again, Gabe Davis, a lot less pressure for him now as well with Emmanuel Sanders there. So I think that's just a great move and obviously gives Josh Allen another weapon. The Bills want to run it back. They like the team they have. The culture's there. The locker room is there. Everything's there. They bring in Mitch Trubisky to back up Josh Allen. Matt Barkley's days are numbered, but hell of a job by Brandon Beane, in terms of calling Matt Barkley and delaying his press conference to make sure that he knew how important that he was to the Bills franchise. Brandon Beane is just all class all the way. But I love this move. I think Mitchell Trubisky could maybe have a little bit of a renaissance in Buffalo. He backs up, Josh Allen, and really had a lot of struggles in Chicago. Outside of Montgomery and Allen Robinson, not a lot of weapons in Chicago. A half-assed offensive line, horrendous head coaching with Matt Nagy, terrible front office with Ryan Pace. But, and I know that they traded up to get him. I know all about the quarterback woes in Chicago. But here's the thing. Mitch Trubisky maybe is a backup in the NFL for a little while until he can find his footing again. And what better place to go than Buffalo? You're going into everything that's already built in. You can get some confidence back. And God forbid if Josh Allen were to go down for a game or two, you can insert Mitchell Trubisky into a system that's way better with way better coaching. So I love this move. Matt Hawk also signed as a punter, so it probably spells the end of Corey Bojorquez for the Buffalo Bills. I'll go winner for the Bills. They're bringing everybody back, and you know what? They didn't make a big splash, people say. Well, getting Matt Milano, Darrell Williams, and John Feliciano under the market value for 3 positions that you had to have, good move. Good moves. And by the way, it's funny when people are like, oh, they didn't make a splash, A, but also B, like, hey, we gotta fill these positions. God, these guys are as good as gone. Well, Matt Milano, Darrell Williams, and John Feliciano count as being position fillers, right? Because they could have been free agents. But instead, you're bringing them back, and so not only do you bring them back, guys the group, the culture, the locker, all that stuff, not only is all of that back with those 3 players, but you've also removed the need to bring in linebacker, tackle, guard. You've brought the players back, but you've also filled major position needs. Again, now you kind of plug and play. You bring in the edge rusher probably here at some point, probably through the draft. You got to get another corner. They did just sign Levi Wallace, by the way, which is a good deal, a 1-year deal. So I think what the Bills are doing, it's pretty good. And you can do some things with Levi Wallace. I think he's still growing in the system for the Buffalo Bills. Carolina Panthers, I'm going to go middleman here. They lost some key guys in free agency already. I'll get to that. I think, you get Cam Irving and, you're beefing up the offensive line. They still have, to figure out the quarterback situation. Are they going to go in all in on Deshaun Watson? The Panthers haven't done anything blow away, but they haven't really done anything awful. So I'm going to go middleman on the Panthers. The Chicago Bears, man, goodness gracious. They re-signed the kicker, Santos, who's a really good kicker, obviously. They may still make a big swing for Russell Wilson despite going and getting Andy Dalton. Allen Robinson, they franchise tagged him, and I hate the franchise tag. I do. I despise it. And the reason I don't like it is because it's literally, oh, hey, by the way, you're good enough to stay here for us. We just can't pay you. What the market says, right? Like, Allen Robinson should be getting monster wide receiver money. Allen Robinson should be getting top 3, top 5 money in this league, and now he's a franchise player again on this team, and it's just absurd. And if I'm Allen Robinson, I don't want to be there. I mean, I know he doesn't really complain about it. Tyler Dunn had a great piece on him for Go Long. Make sure you go subscribe and support Tyler, by the way. It's just a terrific platform. But I don't like the franchise tag. I think Robinson really deserves his big payday. I really do. But this is going to be something else, man. I mean, watching this moving forward with this Bears team, absolutely, positively pathetic with this franchise not being able to find a quarterback, in what, a century of football. It's absurd. It's just crazy. So I'm going to go loser for the Chicago Bears. I really am. Cincinnati Bengals picked up a lot of sort of role, solid players and made a big splash in terms of Trey Hendrickson. That's 4 years and $60 million. Cincinnati had to get better, and they do that with Trey Hendrickson, a guy who was a draft pick of the New Orleans Saints. He was a third-rounder back in 2017. I'm going to put the Bengals in a win position here. I'm going to say winner because they've shored up 2 major positions on defense. They had to get help at corner. They went out and got Mike Hilton. They went out and got Chidobe Awuzie, I think is how you pronounce that. And, of course, you're, as I just mentioned, with Trey Hendrickson. So you've got multiple guys. Tony Brown, they re-signed the corner. So I think Cincinnati, man, I'm going to go winner. And we know what Mike Hilton can bring to the table at corner. The Jags certainly saw something in him early, and is a very formidable player. Just was on a team that didn't have a lot of depth pieces, and he could be exposed. And sometimes that's something that gets overlooked in the NFL is that you're solid, you're pretty good, but you're getting picked on all the time. Because the whole team is just not really there yet, right? So, maybe a Mike Hilton really is like a number 2 corner, right? He's not really a number 1 corner on a lot of teams. Maybe he's a number 2. Or maybe he's a number 2 who can be a 1 if 2, 3, 4 are a lot better as well, because that means a couple of things. Number 1, if you're the number 1 guy, a lot of times you're going to get the number 1 receiver, right? They might throw away from you sometimes as well, right? But by the same token, I mean, I think it kind of can work in reverse too, right? I mean, if you switch off and you put, a 1 corner on a 2 wide, and the 2 wide isn't as good a matchup, right, for you, maybe it's, or a 3 wide, right? Maybe it's a slot guy. Maybe you get crossed up. Maybe you're doing a different formation, and you get exposed. You might let him go for a pass, and then you're on your heels now, and then you switch off again to the number 1 wideout, and then they go right back to you, and something mentally happened where you just blew a play, and because you're not a number 1 corner, they keep going at you type of a thing. And if a wide receiver is really, really good against a Mike Hilton, they keep throwing to him. That's it. And there's nobody to put in his place and put him at the number 2. But I think for Cincinnati right now, I think they did a really good job. I mean, I think Trey Hendrickson's going to really help that club. I really hope Joe Burrow gets back to 100% because I want to watch him play quarterback as well. Put the Bengals in the winner category. Cleveland Browns, you re-sign Rashard Higgins at wideout. They sign an edge defender in McKinley. Their big splash was John Johnson, the third, a safety, a 3-year deal for $33.7 million, by the way. $24 million of it totally guaranteed. And he was a guy the Rams, really relied on back there in zone coverage a lot of the time as well. So that'll help out. That'll help out Cleveland. I think they need some more line help. Still a little bit of work to do. Not awful, not great. I'm going to go middle. Dallas Cowboys, loser. I like them taking a chance on Ty and Secchi. I guess you got nothing to lose at tackle. Jordan Lewis, you bring him in as a corner. Nice, I guess. but, or you re-sign, I should say, Jordan Lewis. But the Dak Prescott thing is mind-blowing. You franchise tag him until the cows come home. I mean, you could have gotten him for way less, and you waited around, and now you overpaid. You're overpaying for I guess, I mean, is he really good? Is that what we're doing with Dak Prescott? He's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, right? Like, he's not elite, he's not great. He's not Rodgers, Mahomes, what we saw Josh Allen do in 2020. Like, he's not, he's probably not even on par with Lamar. Like, he's a top 10 quarterback, I guess, right? Russell Wilson, he's behind all those guys, but you're paying elite money for really good. And I just, loser category for Dallas. I got to see Dak Prescott, he has been to the playoffs. Dak Prescott in the fourth quarter, still not a ton there to write home about. But that's a lot of money for Dak Prescott. That's a lot of money for Dak Prescott. Wow. Goodness. And Jerry Jones, man, owner and GM. He just can't shed that GM tag. Denver Broncos. I'll go middle. I think that they, you get Ronald Darby at corner. That was a splash move there. They placed a franchise tag on Justin Simmons. I go middleman here on the Denver Broncos. They made some necessary cuts with AJ Bowie and Casey, to make some room for Shelby Harris and Ronald Darby. And Shelby Harris, again, you're taking him, a guy who knows the division well, right? He was drafted by the Raiders 7 years ago. So I'll go middleman here for the Broncos. Still a lot of work to do. Would like to see them do something with the offensive line. And again, have to figure out that quarterback position in Denver. Detroit Lions. I'm going to go winner. I'm going to go winner here because they're taking a stab at a new era. I like the idea of just, hey, we got to change some things here. We got to take chances on some things. We're just a horrendous, they're a horrendous franchise historically. And they, they're swinging for it, right? They traded Matthew Stafford for Jared Goff. We'll see what Goff can bring to the table. A lot of people think that this is a better move for the Rams than it is the Lions. But, again, the jury will be out. We'll see. I think Jared Goff certainly doesn't have as much to work with as Matt Stafford with that Sean McVay offense. But, Detroit made a ton of cuts. They cut Shelton and Daniel and Christian Jones and Bodine and James and Justin Coleman and Desmond Trufant. To make a lot of room for the draft, for upper echelon pick. Perhaps they're going to trade up and go make a splash. Who knows? Maybe they'll try to get a quarterback as well. I think Detroit needs a lot of help offensively from a playmaker standpoint. I know they signed Brashad Perriman for 1 year and $3 million. But they really, I think, got to go out, and they got Tyrell Williams for a year. They signed a tight end in Josh Hill. Those things are all nice. I think they got to go out in the draft and get a major player. Do you trade up? Do you make sure that you get a guy? They need a Devonta Smith. They need a Chase. They need a Kyle Pitts. They need a major offensive guy in the NFL draft. You have to love Romeo Okwara, though. The former Giant getting that big money in Detroit. What an edge player he should be. They re-signed Okwara. Giant fans, of course, remember from the draft. 3 years, $39, and that was a priority for the Lions to kind of try and help build around him. So I like Detroit so far in the offseason. I think winner. I don't know if Goff's going to be equal to or better than Stafford, but they're swinging for it right now. And again, they need some playmakers on offense desperately. If I'm them, I go 2-3 weapons in the draft for sure. Packers, meh. I mean, they lose people left and right. Corey Lindsley's gone. Not to be confused with Mike Lindsley. You re-sign Aaron Jones. Tons of money. 4 years, $38 million. I mean, for a running back who's not top 7. Loser category for the Packers. Houston Texans, ton of cuts. They bring in Tyrod Taylor. Deshaun Watson wants out. Bumbling mess there. They get Andre Roberts. That was a good move. The former Bill. I mean, he was great last year for Buffalo in punt and kick returns. 2 years, $6 million. I like that because, you try to shorten the field a little bit. But, I mean, I don't see anything positive with Houston across the board. And if they lose Deshaun Watson, it might not matter what they do in the offseason free agency world or the draft. Indianapolis Colts, I'm going to go winner. Because they re-signed Marlon Mack, who I like at running back. You sign Isaac Rochelle for some depth at edge defender. But the big one was Carson Wentz. Phillip Rivers retiring. They trade a 2021 third rounder, a 2022 second rounder for Wentz, and away you go. And now you're trying to just, plug him right in. He knows Frank Reich really well. I think that's a winner move for the Colts. The offense is built. The line is built. Everything's built. Carson Wentz now needs to do his part. But that's a perfect situation for him and for the Colts. The Jaguars, they've been very, very active. Very, very active. I'm going to say winner because they're going for it now. They made, obviously, they franchise tag Cam Robinson. They went out and got, Roy Roberts and Harris. They made a lot of big moves. And I think Harris is going to be able to help them, obviously, the former Bear. They go out and get Rayshon Jenkins. I mean, they really shored up a lot with their defense. Shaquille Griffin, probably their biggest splash even, right? I mean, my goodness, have they been active 3 years at $40 million for the former Seahawk. And so Jacksonville, they want to get that big, bad defense back. And boy, oh boy, they have really brought in some guys to do that. You get Carlos Hyde at running back. I think that's a really good move as well. A guy who's just a downfield runner, tough as nails, possession guy. And we know Trevor Lawrence probably be there with the number 1 pick. So winner for the Jaguars. Kansas City Chiefs, I'm going to go middleman here because, look, they cut Eric Fisher, Mitchell Schwartz on the line, but they made up for it by signing Joe Thuney, but he's a guard, not a tackle. Where will he play? That's a lot of money at 5 years and $80. They signed Kyle Long, a guard, to help as well. That will help. They signed tackle Mike Remmers for a year. So a couple guys they're familiar with are out, and then they bring in new people for the line. So the jury's just still out there. So you can't really say awful or great yet. You just got to see how the line players acclimate to helping and blocking Patrick Mahomes. But I'll go middleman for the Chiefs. LA Raiders, middleman. Kenyon Drake. I suppose that's nice. I like the Yannick Ngakoue signing because they really need to pressure the quarterback a lot more than they did in 2020. But you traded Gabe Jackson on the line, and that I don't know. I just don't know. So I'm going to go middleman there. LA Chargers, I'm going to go winner because they splashed and got Corey Lindsley for 5 years and $62.5 million, the talented center to help protect Justin Herbert, and they get Jared Cook at tight end, so another weapon who they're looking for him to replace Hunter Henry. The Rams, I'm going to go winner, just like the Lions, because I think, taking a stab, bringing in Matthew Stafford, probably an upgrade from Jared Goff. You get Leonard Floyd as an edge defender. You re-sign. So good stuff there by the Rams. I'll put them in the winner category as well. The Dolphins so far, I'm going to put into the winner category because they picked up Will Fuller, great weapon for Tua. They added some depth at tight end. You bring in Carter there, Justin Coleman, a corner. I think though and Matt Score is in at center. I think overall they've added some depth pieces and they brought in a playmaker in Will Fuller. So I'm going to go winner for the Dolphins. Vikings, I'm going to go middle man here. I don't, not a lot of splash. Not that you need to, because a lot of splash does sometimes lead to, overpaying. I guess everybody overpays at some point in free agency. Patrick Peterson, we'll see if there's anything left in the tank for the Vikings, but they didn't do anything wildly great, wildly awful and we'll see what they do in the draft. New England Patriots, I'm going to go winner here. Boy, Cam Newton, I don't know, man. 1 year, bringing him back. I mean, the guy couldn't throw it down the field. I know Corona hit him, hit the team, etc., but I just don't. I mean, maybe they're going to go in another spot for quarterback. They might run Cam Newton back. Who knows? Bill Belichick's got to have something up his sleeve. I mean, Tom Brady winning a Super Bowl. Bill Belichick had, I thought, a great coaching year at 7-9. I mean, you didn't have any playmakers on both sides of the ball. You had the most defensive opt-outs in the league from Corona. To me, he's got to have something up his sleeve. He's got to be pissed off, not making the playoffs. Doesn't want to hand it over to the Bills anytime soon, long term. Man, I can't. I find it mind blowing that you would start and go with Cam Newton as your quarterback when you went out and got Nelson Aguilar, when you went out and got Kendrick Bourne on offense, when you went out and got Jonnu Smith 4 years at $50 million, when you went out and signed Hunter Henry. I mean, they went out and brought 4 big-time offensive players into the offense, and Cam Newton is a quarterback who can't throw the ball down the field. So they really going to go with him? New Orleans Saints, nothing great, nothing awful. I'm going to probably go in the middleman here. Made a bunch of cuts. They obviously have to really work on the cap there. That's the reason for those. Jury's still out on what they're going to do. Nothing way up, nothing way down. Middleman for me for New Orleans here. Drew Brees, thank you for a great career. What a player. New York Giants, I'm going to go winner. You bring in Kyle Rudolph as a tight end, 2 years, $14 million. I think is a big deal there. You franchise tag Leonard Williams, signed for 3 years, $63 million. You had to keep him. You overpaid for him, obviously, but you had to probably keep him. And the Giants now can build as they move forward. The New York Jets, I'm going to go middleman here. Obviously, Carl Lawson, the edge defender, that's a great signing. But, Keelan Cole, Corey Davis, wide receiver. Davis is a nice player. I mean, he had a couple of pretty good weeks last year as a member of the Titans, but he's not a bona fide number one. I think the Jets still could go get that bona fide number one wide receiver in the draft. Maybe that's the plan. We think maybe they'll go quarterback. Is it Zach Wilson? They can stick with Darnold. But if I'm sticking with Darnold, I need something more than Corey Davis if he's going to end up being my number one. Maybe he's not, but we'll see what happens here with the Jets. I think right in the middle is where I'm at because I think jury's still out on a lot of them, but I do love the Carl Lawson move for sure. He's going to wreak havoc in the AFC East. Philadelphia Eagles, right now, loser. I mean, they cut 4 guys, had to, obviously, again, everybody deals with the same thing, cuts and cap and all that. But they haven't really gone out and done anything active at all. They're kind of in shambles to begin with. The whole Carson Wentz fallout, they haven't really done anything. Not even just one minor thing. So I'll put them in the loser category. Pittsburgh Steelers, middleman. You re-sign Ray McLeod. Cameron Sutton's in at corner for 2 years and $9 million. Nothing blow away, nothing great, nothing awful. Right in the middle for me. 49ers, right in the middle also, because I just don't know if a lot of their guys they signed are exactly what the value is. For example, is Samson Ebukam at 2 years, $12 million? Is that, I know you steal share from the division, but is he going to be worth that money? I don't know. So I'm going to all these guys, right? The 49ers are a classic case of did they way overpay or just overpay? If they overachieve, then it won't matter, right? Because the money's the money, and you got your classic production out of these guys. Their big move was obviously re-signing tackle Trent Williams, a guy who they want to be there for a very, very long time. He is a veteran. I can't believe he's been in the league for a decade already. My goodness. that is that's a good one for the San Francisco 49ers. There's no question about it. He's an OT. He's your blindside guy. You got to have him. He's building quite possibly a Hall of Fame career. And just had 1 year with the 49ers there, played his entire career with the Washington football team prior to that. So I really like that move for sure. And I think my guy, did he get paid 6 years, $138 million, but he's one of the elite tackles in the NFL. You had to pay him. So I'm gonna go winner actually on the Niners. I'm gonna go winner because they kept a tackle in Trent Williams, and have done just enough, swinging and taking some chances. We'll see if they stick with Jimmy Garoppolo as well. Seattle Seahawks, I'm going to go middleman here because a lot of the moves that they made, I don't know what they're going to do up or down, but they did enough for me to at least put them in middleman category because they picked up Gabe Jackson, and I guess Russell Wilson bitched enough to Dan Patrick, so that allowed Seattle to go out and get a guard. Who knows if they'll still trade him. I still find it hard to believe that Russell Wilson would be traded. I really do. Give me middleman for the Seahawks. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, winner. I mean, they're going to run it back with Shaquille Barrett, Levante David. They franchise tag Chris Godwin. Rob Gronkowski's back. They re-signed their kicker and Ryan Suckup. I mean, I think it's a win. They're going to try to run it back. Brady says that they're going to be better next year. I don't know if you can be better. I mean, how are you going to be better? Do you win 2 Super Bowls at once? Or if you're equal to, you win a Super Bowl again. But they're going to run it back with their core guys and then add depth pieces in the draft. I'm going to go winner for the Super Bowl champs. Tennessee Titans, I'm going to go winner. I'm going to go winner. I think the Titans have had one of the best off seasons in the NFL. You pick up Denico Autry. I mean, they picked up arguably the 2 biggest defensive guy, Carl Lawson, you could argue, and some others, but you could argue that the Titans got the 2 biggest fish. They brought in the 2 biggest defensive fish in Denico Autry and Bud Dupree. I mean, you're talking about 2 edge guys, 2 guys who are going to go right after the quarterback. They've become formidable, and my goodness, that Mike Vrabel and his staff, that defense with the physicality and the mix-up and the matches, whoa, those are great signings right there. So I'm going to say the Titans are in winner category. Washington football team, I'm actually going to put in a winner category because they re-signed their kicker in Dustin Hopkins, who I like a lot. You signed Fitzpatrick, which I wouldn't start Fitzpatrick. I think you still got to go out and get a franchise guy. I think Washington is actually really close to being able to make a playoff run. They just need the quarterback, and I don't know as if Alex Smith got a fair shake there. I mean, he came back, he worked his tail off, he started, they made the playoffs. I don't know if he got a fair shake there. I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick instead of Alex Smith, they did bring in Curtis Samuel. I think Curtis Samuel is one of the most underrated receivers in the NFL, the former Panther. He can run any route. He has great hands. He can play multiple receiver positions. I think that's a great pickup for them. They're close. I'm telling you, man. The Washington football team's close to making a run. They have really good coaching. They've got some major playmakers now. They've got a generational defensive player in Chase Young. I think Washington's dangerous, but again, they're dangerous until the playoffs, right? They're dangerous until they play in a playoff game and they lose to Tom Brady. They lose to the quarterback. They've got to go get the quarterback. So there you go. There's kind of my takeaways, a little bit of quick hits on NFL free agency up to this point. It's going to be wild, man, watching this go the rest of the way here. I'm super, super, super pumped to see what's next for all these teams, where guys land, any trades, Deshaun Watson, what's next, what's going to happen in the draft. The NFL does not ever have an off season. That is for sure. Folks, you know that this tournament season, you got to take care of your hair and holes with the best tools for the job. We're talking about our sponsors. Yes, our friends from Manscaped, the global leaders in male grooming from head to toe. When the clock winds down in March, be clutch and avoid the upset with a Manscaped Performance Package to keep all your hair and holes tamed. Start taking care of your man parts today with 20% off plus free shipping by going to manscaped.com. That's manscaped.com and using code BRAWL for our exclusive offer. Get over there to manscaped.com. That's manscaped.com. And a huge thanks to our friends at DraftKings as well. Get a deposit bonus up to $500. Play with the leader in fantasy sports. You can sign up now at DraftKings.com. Daily fantasy sports. Play, win, compete with your buddies. How is daily fantasy better on DraftKings? Go through the chart online. You'll find out why over 5 million people have played DraftKings, DraftKings.com for more information. I'm Mike Lindsley. This is the ML Sports Platter, all over the major platforms like Spotify, Google, Apple, Stitcher, and Deezer. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and, of course, leave 5-star reviews and feedback as well. Hit me on Twitter at Mike L Sports, all a part of the Brawl Network. We're on Twitter there as well, at Network Brawl. Check me out all over YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, you name it. IGTV, my ML Sports takes, and my 9-minute with Mike Lindsley video sponsors. Thanks for listening so much to the ML Sports Platter, brought to you by Stanley Law Offices and Axe Exotic Pets. As I always tell you, enjoy the games.